Well, good morning. We got up pretty early this morning. We're leaving Powell River, heading to Saltery Bay, and we'll be leaving the north side of the Sunshine Coast and taking the ferry across to Earl's Cove. Our sort of main adventure today will be to see the Skookumchuck Narrows, and I'll tell you more about that later. But for now, we've got a pleasant ride to Saltery Bay. It's hard to imagine now, but waterfront was once so inexpensive they could afford to put a road right on the ocean. Nowadays, I'm sure they would have built it a little bit further back, and this either would have been a park or people would have a lot of expensive waterfront property here. Well, this may be the mainland, but it really gives off a vibe of being on one of the Gulf Islands. Everything's laid back, people are just enjoying themselves, there's no hustle and bustle, and that's a really nice way to spend a vacation, at least. One last scenic glimpse of the north side of the Sunshine Coast. Ferry coming in. Saltery Bay taking us to Earl's Cove. 50-minute journey across. And we'll continue the next leg of our adventure. All that haziness and cloud is actually smoke from the fires. There's no fires not nearby. The smoke is coming here anyway. And here we are arriving at Earl's Cove. And finally we're headed for Skookumchuck Narrows Provincial Park. Skookumchuck is an Aboriginal word, and it means turbulent water or something to that effect. The idea here is that on this part of British Columbia there's a lot of fjords, and the southern side of the Sunshine Coast, the back end, as you can see here, has a fjord system and it goes into these narrows. Well, that's a lot of water, but it's seawater, and so it's affected by the tides. So all of that water wants to rush out or rush back in, and it creates a narrows here where the water is bottlenecked, and so it has to go at high speed. It can get up to 30 miles an hour, and it can have a 6-foot drop. So it creates some spectacular eddies and whirlpools, and it's a really neat experience. So I'm going to take us there. Let's go. So we came to the wilds to get a hike in, and instead we discover a little coffee shop. And they even have electronic payment. Makes sense, though. People don't think we're getting. On the trail to Skookumchuck Narrows. Here we are, Skookumchuck Narrows. That's the jump-in spot?
That's where I want you to go, buddy.
just a touch cold. You know, 2 degrees different, I'd be in there. So now we're heading for North Point, a different viewpoint of the Skookumchuck Narrows. There's a lot of places called Skookumchuck in British Columbia. It's an Aboriginal word, and it means something like big water. So when there's big rapids in a river, it's Skookumchuck, and there's big rapids here in the Narrows, it's Skookumchuck. Oh yeah, you can see whirlpools here for sure. This is a great view. So they form and then they dissipate. So these whirlpools form and then dissipate, and then presumably form again. So there's a couple of really great ones when I first showed up.
Well, I have to say, Richard, you might be wrong. This might be as skookum.
Yeah, it's pretty skookum. I enjoyed my time at the Narrows even more than I expected to. Watching the whirlpools form and then disappear and then form again, it was really quite an experience and relaxing in its way. Anyway, back on the road, going through the twisty turns of the southern side of the Sunshine Coast, past Madeira Park, on our way to Sechelt, where we have a hotel for the night. Well, actually, we did make a quick stop here at Pender Harbour before getting to Sechelt, and I thought you might enjoy a little look at the harbour. And that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. See you soon.